Hi there. I've been having motor trouble. Multiple motor trouble. Oh, motors. Don't you just love them? Hello everyone. Yes, welcome back. Do you know what? This is the first video that I have recorded now for, I think, approximately 3 weeks. I did like a batch load of them ages ago that I've just been releasing on a weekly basis, but this is the first new one for, I think it is three weeks now. The reason for that is because a couple of weekends back I went to see some friends up in North Wales, so that weekend was gone, couldn't record anything. And then in the week following that weekend, I had to go to Birmingham for work. And whilst I was there, I caught an incredibly horrible chest infection. So I've been laid up for almost 2 weeks with a terrible chest, coughing my guts up. It has been utterly awful. And I've just had no energy, and I just haven't been able to do anything, like nothing at all. So, as I say, first video for 3 weeks. Motor trouble. Yeah, lots of motor trouble. Do you recognise this old boy? This is the bench vac. This is my approximately 1980-81 Miele S220 bench vac. And I've used this for years now. It's been brilliant, very, very reliable. I use the good old Henry microfiber bags, sorry, HEPA bags with it. And it just does a fantastic job. It has been brilliant, utterly reliable for 3, maybe 4 years now. So I can't complain too much about it. But then, unfortunately, this week when I was sucking something out, it didn't stop. It carried on working. The motor was running, but there was no airflow. I thought, oh, it's a bit funny. So dragged it up from down here under the bench, opened it up, and I found that the motor had actually just fallen off. It had fallen off the body. And I thought to myself, well, that's weird, isn't it? What's happened there? And then it came back to me. This was a bodge job. This was a massive, massive bodge job. Now, back in the day, I used to do this quite a lot. It's terrible, really. But if you have like really strong glue, this contact adhesive stuff is fantastic. It will glue anything to anything under immense pressure and heat. So what I'd done was I'd taken this motor. I think it's a pneumatic motor, or it might actually be a copy of a pneumatic motor. I believe this is a pattern part. It looks very similar to the pneumatic style unit, but it isn't a genuine one. I don't know who made this, but yeah, it's not a genuine lamb. Is it lamb? This style, I think. And yeah, so what I'd done all those years ago was I glued this motor to the Miele's body and just put a little bit of rubber in here just to just to support it, basically. And 3 years later, the glue had failed and it had just dropped away. So it was running, but there was no airflow. There was no air coming through to the dust box here. It was just like cycling round. So I thought, oh, what am I going to do with that? I thought, well, I could replace this S220. So I went upstairs to the attic and I got the Kellner 1400 out. And whilst this is actually really good, it would be a really good bench vac. The bag is not particularly massive. It takes paper bags. I don't think I could convert it to take Henry HEPA bags. So it wasn't really an option. And from memory as well, this has got a Dyson motor stuffed in it, I think. So it's not ideal. It's a bit of a screamer as well, and it's like, nah, that ain't gonna work. So I basically had to repair the S220. And I've done exactly what I did last time. I've glued the motor in place. Do you know what? That'll do. That'll do fine. So I think what we'll do first is we'll put the S220 back together, and then we'll have a look at the Sensotronic System 25, which has been driving me nuts. But let's do this first. Here we are inside the S220. As you can see, the motor is firmly glued in place. That's not going to move now for many, many years. So we can just basically hook it back up. I've got the unit here. So this is the top section. Now what should happen here is that the original Miele motor is sort of held in place by a bracket that goes here, so the motor actually comes out with this top section. It's a really nice, neat way of doing it, but that motor must have been burnt out, hence why we have this pattern one in there. So we just need to hook this back up, really easy. Let's take a couple of wires here, which I've bodged with tape, and one goes to here, and the other one goes to here, and that's it. Nice and simple. There's no electronics with the S220. It's a very basic machine. So let's get that tag back on, and then we can just get this top section back in. And hopefully this will last another 3 years. And then I'll glue it again. Just keep the glue going with it. Okay, pop that in like so. Some screws. Pop these in. They're so easy to work on, these early Mieles. Not like the modern ones. They're bloody terrible. So let's just pop this panel back down. Quite high torque setting. There we go. That's that in place. So now we can shut the bag door. There we go. And we should have a filter for here, and then the 220's top panel, which goes on like that. There we go, and we're all back together. So let's plug it in. I'm just going to unplug the Kellner a second, because that needs to go back up into the attic. And I'll plug in the Miele. There we go. Pressing the pedal. Yeah, perfect. I know that motor does sound particularly rough, but do you know what? It's not worth worrying about. That motor's perfectly fine for what I need to use this machine for, so I'll just leave it like that. Right, let's get this back where it should be, and then we'll look at the Sensotronic System 25. Oh, praise be, order has been restored to the workshop. Perfect. So nice to have the old Miele back. You have no idea how much that's been bugging the out of me for many days. When you get used to something, and you know something's always there and it works reliably for a long time, to suddenly lose it is really annoying. Enough of that. The Sensotronic System 25, which is here now. This has been driving me nuts, utterly nuts. As you recall from the first video, the original motor from the S25 was knackered, and it was really badly knackered. A real shame, but you know, what can you do? What, the machine's 36 years old. It had a lot of use. That motor was really worn out, so it went onto the scrap pile. I've still got a lot of the bits of it here actually, because I've kept quite a lot of it. Now that end frame there, that's got a good bearing in it, and I have a machine that can make use of that top bearing. Now that's going to be an interesting video, because whilst these machines, the motors can be hard, but the machines themselves are incredibly easy to work on. You can get the motor out of one of these in a matter of minutes. The machine I need to put this in is an absolute nightmare. So that's going to sit over there for a while until I'm ready to tackle it. So let's pop it back. Everything will fall down. Stay. So I had to find a motor that would fit into this machine's body. The Sensotronic motor is quite physically big. It is a physically large unit. I thought it was the same size as the Lamb style Henry motor. No, no, that was my go-to choice for the replacement for this cleaner, mainly because I had one hanging around here in my pile of motors. I've got loads of motors over here. So I thought, perfect, we'll use that one for it. It's going to be physically very, very similar, so I can just pop it in. It'll be easy. It was not easy. Oh my absolute God, it was not easy. But I did it. And there it is. It's in there. By the grace of God, is it in there? Yeah. I don't know how long this one's going to last. I suppose the positive side is this machine is not going to be used very often, if at all, but it's working. If I want to use it, if somebody visits and they want to use it, they can do. I'm going to bring you down now so we can have a closer look at this. It's, yeah, it's a hell of a bodge. Right, but this is not particularly easy to film because I've got to bring you in very, very close in order to see what's going on here. So this is a Lamb motor taken from a Henry. Now, one of my dear viewers did say, oh, but there's holes in the Lamb motor. You can probably fit the these little bad boys to it, which you can then attach the casing to. And yeah, brilliant. No, absolutely not. The holes are in completely the wrong place for this frame. So what I had to do, well, I tried it without this frame first of all. That really didn't work. That was a massive no. So I worked out, if I cut the frame, so these two plastic pieces, if I cut them so the motor will actually sit in it flush, okay, perfect. That's point number one done. Get the frame over the motor. So got out the Dremel, cut out various bits of plastic on the frames, and managed to get it to cover the end of the motor. But then, of course, the holes didn't line up. So I absolutely couldn't just pop on those rubber mounting units. I actually had to drill new holes in the end frame of the motor in order to put new screws and washers through to hold the frame onto the motor. And now you can see the problem is it's too short. Look, so the motor ends there, the body ends there. So you've got like a good inch of space here where this motor is physically smaller than the original motor. I guess if I had been able to put those rubber mounts in, they would have brought it out by about an inch or so, and then this likely would have lined up. But there was no way I could get those rubber mounts onto the motor and into the frame as well. There just isn't enough room down here. See, you've got the field coil there, and you've got the end of the motor, the end frame here. It just wasn't possible. So this is all shrunk down by an inch. So I was thinking to myself, how the hell am I going to mount this in here? So I've tried various rubber boots and stuff, and fan rubbers and all that stuff, and nothing worked. And then I realized, amazingly, there's a little bit of plastic here. Look, there's the original hole that mounts into the body. There's like an inch here of spare plastic. They're like little wings, little trailing wings, one there and one there. So I thought, oh my God, they go over the screw posts. Literally just. So I held this thing in place and I drilled a couple of holes through those little bits of plastic, and I put the screws in, and flipping heck, it holds it in place, and it holds it in there perfectly fine. There's a little bit of movement, but it's just, it works. And it also drops down as well. I don't know how reliable this is going to be, but you know, it's got a motor in it, so yeah, awesome. And the machine works, so let me show you it working. Let's plug him in. There we go, plugged in. Look, watch, you ready? Wow. Yeah. Woo. Even the electronics work. Look, we've got the warning light on for airflow restriction, which turns off when you turn the speed up. And we also get the eco light. So that actually works quite well. It's all sealed, it's all fine, it works great. Now the only problem we have here is, as you can see, that this section has sort of dropped down. I don't know why, but this like printing label has dropped down. So we need to have a look at that and just like get it back where it should be. So this is going to be fun. I think I need to remove 4 screws. So let me do that quick. And with those 4 screws removed, we should now be able to remove the top panel. It's been a long time since I've done this. There are a couple of clips here, and I think they may be, oh yes they are holding it in as well. So if I take that off, we should now have access to, oh good God. Yeah, this is all very tricky. There we go. So we've got access now. And you can see the piano keys that come down here to actuate the electronics. So that's like a switch there. So that turns the machine into eco mode whenever you press the pedal down. I just need to make sure that this doesn't move too much, because it's going to be a pain in the bum to get back together. There we go. Okay. And then there's the power switch there. So all I want to do is just really move this. Oof. See, it's got hot. Can I just pull that off gently? Oh, God. Right, I need the hairdryer. Hang on. Right, move the next hairdryer to the rescue. Okay, so that's come off now. There's a couple of little bits of the black have come away there. Yeah, and it's got stuck on there. Damn it, it's a real shame. But yeah, didn't really get much choice with that, did I? And let's just let's clean this a little bit. There we go. Let's use an old sock and just give this a little bit of a clean. I don't go too mad. All that lovely carbon dust everywhere. Clean up the lenses. There we go. So now, hopefully, we should be able to get this back on in the right place. Let's give this a quick wipe. There we go. Just give it a bit of a clean. It's a bit manky. I think it's because it's covered in carbon dust. It's not going to help. Now let's. Have I got some super glue? Oh yeah, okay. All right, that's now stuck itself to my hand. Let's take that off. Thank you very much. Just a couple of little blobs of super glue. Don't want to go mad. There we go. Just a little bit, just to make sure it stays in place. And we'll pop this back on. Oh, can I clean that? That's okay. Right, I'm going to line it up. There we go. Just make sure that that little picture is centered, because that's the most important bit. You need to be able to see the pictures from the dial. So that should be okay now. So that should hold it in place nicely. We do have this little issue here now where it had moved. Yeah, these have sort of come off, but never mind. You can't have everything, can you? Now, can I remove this piece of... Yes, there we go. So I've got the lens here. So this is what goes over it, like so. Basically what you look through. And this is really dirty. So let's give this a clean. Oh, wow, yeah. That's really, really grubby. Oh, God, look. It's all carbon dust from the motor. Oh, that's much better. I have to be very careful because I can feel this just wants to snap. And if it snaps, it ruins the look. Right, there we go. Okay. So that'll go back there. Oh, that's much better. You can see it so much clearer now. That's great. Okie dokie. Brilliant. Good. Now, this all needs to come back together. And I've realised that there's a clip there. So that goes like that. And now I need to get the top section back on. Will the pedal... Oh, God. I've got the spring for the pedal. The pedal will fall out. Of course it will. I think it goes like... Yes, that's it. It's got the cutout there. You can actually see there... Actually, I don't know if you can. Hang on, let me move you around. You see there's a cutout on the pedal for the electronics, for the variable speed, but there isn't a cutout for the eco button. So when this pedal is pressed, every time this pedal is pressed, the eco button goes down. So the machine always starts in eco mode, which is nice. So let's pop you back there. There we go. Now we need to get this panel back on. So pop this through. Push those clips down. Does everything move? Yes, good. Okay, flip this over and get those screws back in pretty damn quick. Good. Right. So that's all back in place. Let's have a quick look at it. Oh, God, it's so much better now. It's so much better. Oh, just not want to go back down now. The loom is ridiculous on this cleaner. Good, there we go. Right, so that sits nicely. We have a couple of screws here, which go here and here to hold this panel down. So let's get those in. Lovely stuff. So, barring a really good clean, the System 25 is done, which is fantastic. Let's pop the top cover back on. Now, I'm going to run it now, but there won't be any suction because we're missing the tool tray. So, as I said before, if anybody's got a tool tray that they would like to sell, please let me know because I would absolutely like to buy it. So, let's see what difference we've got in this panel. Yeah, nice. And we have our red light, which is awesome. Tweaker mode. Yeah, pretty pleased with that. Well, there we go. System 25, restored and working. Still needs a clean, which I will do, obviously. It is really, really manky. It's got all this paint on the wheels as well, which is not good. And unfortunately, the wheels are suffering from red plastic syndrome. You see here that they are starting to break. Red plastics, they really lose their strength over time. It just seems to be a thing with red. It's very odd. Don't know why. So I have to be super careful when I move it and put it down. I think I actually caught that wheel on the side of the bench. It just went snap. The bit just flew off it. Anyway, so yeah, S25 pretty much done. I will clean it up. I will find a tool tray, a hose, and some tools. And in a future video, we'll give it a go, give it a run, see how it performs with that, or excuse me, with that Henry motor in it. Now I'm sure there are some of you out there thinking, what's he going to do? What's he going to do with that bearing in that motor? Well, the machine that's going into is this one. The Hoover Sensotronic System 500. Sorry, Total System 500. Well, I've just realised it doesn't say Total System on it. Now, these are a whole other ball game. But it's definitely a job for another day. You guys take care, and I'll see you soon. Don't forget to do the usual, commenting, subscribing and liking. I'm going to need a lot of comments and a lot of subs for me to take a screwdriver to this thing, believe me. See you soon. Bye.